Welcome to another edition of XFeed, a little bit later of a stream. Hope you guys are enjoying your day, morning, afternoon, and or evening. So, crazy posts on the timeline as per usual. We're going to watch the new episode from Cool Cats. We're going to go over a lot of people who have had some major exchange issues, which seems to be more prevalent than it's ever been in any stretch of time, to be totally honest with you. We have good news. We have bad news. A little bit of it all. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, let's get into the Cool Cat video.
The rain pours on my broken heart. Feels so cold when we're apart. I'll be warm in stormy weather with you close against my feathers. Blue, 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 I ache for you.
Oh, gee whiz. Oh, golly. Is Joe in love with me?
You look weird. What's wrong with you?
Hey, Blue Cat. Do you want to hear my new song?
You gotta help me change back before Joe sees me.
Brilliant. There are some unlicensed medical procedures I've been hoping to try on you.
You are such a good friend.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was good usage of the one of one
What
cat.
you do is regrow your flesh.
No. Well, then I guess I have no other choice. I've gotta talk to her. Joe, there's something I need to tell you.
Wait, first can I play you my new song? It's about my favorite blue raincoat.
Your song's about a raincoat?
Yeah, I left it with my mom, and I could go pick it up, but she'd have to replace it.
Well, look at that.
so-
You're back to your old colour.
No, this is a different shade of blue.
So anyway, do you want to hear it?
I'd love to. But first, can I put on some clothes?
The rain pours on my broken
Yo,
heart.
not bad,
Feels so
not bad.
cold when we're
I think this was a better
apart. I'll be
episode than the other
warm
one. There was the one about the coin. There was one where he got like slashed from the Shadow Wolves that they traveled around. That one, I don't remember. I feel like one of them was kind of Anyway, so guys, this is crazy. What the hell is going on? So this Dean person said, got unbanked, time to go full crypto. Show me your favorite crypto cards, ways to wire crypto, all this crazy stuff. And it's like, oh my goodness. Is this something that keeps happening? Are these people doing something fishy? What's going on? We're going to recap some other people's posts as well. So now we have the speculation that's all around Pudgy Penguins and how much of a massive airdrop they're going to get. And currently, the speculation is that they're going to get $103,000 per Pudgy Penguin held, and $12,500 per little Pudgy. Now, this is off various speculations, maybe comparing to the heights that Bored Ape did. At a point, the market does feel a little bit frothy. Everything around OpenSea Pudgy Penguins getting, a little bit of a monocle view on it. We'll see. But if that's actually the case, that's insane. Also, something to note too is that like Pudgy Penguins are like right around 100K right now. So technically, they would have the Pudgy for free afterwards if they fully dumped it, I guess. But I mean, the bigger question, I suppose, with this is what kind of ramifications or fall off do the NFTs have after the token claim is, because everybody's buying them off of that suspected token claim. But is it going to be worth holding that Pudgy afterwards for other things to come? That is the question. We got people out there that showing off that they farmed a whole bunch of NFTs and you and I didn't. And so we are not buying, what is this? A fresh 2025 G. Okay, that's specific, Keck W. But yeah, I mean, listen, people are flaunting on the timeline, and then we have other people that were bringing up NBA Top Shot saying, why are old users not getting incentivized? Why are we not retroactively getting people back onto the network? And this is something for anything that's been building in the space for quite some time. Are just going to have that question of how do you kind of reward people or attract them to use their platform? And this is something within the blockchain space that it just is what it is, right? Like if you're somebody new coming in, you don't realize everything is incentivized. There are certain collections that don't really have anything for that, and they're just making their name off of the IP that they've acquired of some sort. But a lot of these are offering Some good stuff. And Cat's highlighting a great piece here from Pop Wonder. Just love the artist. I thought I would share that with you. I don't even know what the character's called, but hanging out on a factory with a crow, gotta love it. Also, hello, Hunar. I haven't said anything. And so somebody is also highlighting the fact that when ApeCoin launched, the fully diluted value was 23.6 billion, and the BAYC floor was 131. Now, granted, pudgies I think are, well, I shouldn't say I think because I have no idea, but they're at 26.72 right now. Think for a minute. At the peak for Bored Apes, 131 ETH. Arguably a lot of room to run. Vader Research quote tweeting a comment that said, AI agent who takes calls for me, reads my DMs and summarizes the important ones, and gracefully declines the requests that are not interesting. Who is building this? Do you guys think that you'd want to have an AI bot answer your DMs like instantly? It's not one of those, yeah, call me back later. It's let me answer all of it for you. Invader Research saying everyone will launch their own agent. Agent equals Siri on steroids. And then in the comments, people are just talking about how trillions are coming. And then we make the notions of, well, if blockchain is going to host a lot of these agents, well, what blockchain are they going to be on? That is the question. All right, Bill Noble, absolutely love him. Great insights. He had this like super spicy take regarding pudgy penguins. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I want you to view it as whatever your largest holdings are. Okay, so he's going to say pudgy penguins, but I want you to change it to whatever your largest holding is. Spicy.
Okay, pudgy penguins. I'm going to pound the table on this too. Let me follow pudgy penguins. Okay. Winner take all. Somebody in the NFT space has been building physical products with a great website with NFTs that people want as either collectibles or as like some kind of like, I don't know, way of owning something in the space, right? Because they're like 20 ETH. So the NFTs themselves are like buying into the brand, but then they're going to issue pudgy money. They're going to issue a Solana coin, right? And when they do that, that's going to allow the general public to adopt crypto by buying pudgy money and then buying collectibles. They're going to be motivated to get the collectibles at the holiday season. And you know what? At this time next year, you may be looking at a Pudgy Penguins IPO, right? What happens if Pudgy makes enough money to go public? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what happens in this market when you have NFT companies, crypto companies going public, as in issuing stock? Forget about it.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Love takes from Bill Noble. Highly recommend if you guys want to give him a follow. I watch his streams every single day. And always remember, too, whoever you're watching for entertainment, myself included, always have a different viewpoint or be open-minded about certain takes, as everyone's got biases. Everybody's got different takes, scars from certain things that you might not have. But it's fun. It's fun learning about things. So speaking of scars, Calio, he goes back to a story, and this is kind of lengthy, but we're not going to read all of it. But he collected 100 little pudgies, 16 of the normal ones, and 25 of the third collection, which are now at like an ETH. So the 25 rods alone are 25 ETH. The pudgies at 20 ETH per, that's a lot. 100 little pudgies, which I think are at like 3 ETH right now, we're collectively talking about like well over 200 ETH, which is nuts. So he goes on this whole thing, but this I quote tweeted because I was like, I agree with it. Point of this is when you have a high conviction play in the space, do everything you can not to touch it. You'll get tempted at time to swing from one thing to another to find various reasons to justify it. Just be patient and trust the process. You know what, Calio? I'm going to do just that. Drew! So Doodles started running yesterday, and then the official Doodles account was like, it's just a warm-up. Okay, so I guess the Doodles account knew that they were going to go on a run, and oh my god, did they ever. They were at like, well, if we go back to like the week chart here, like, hello, what are we doing? What is going on? We look at like the actual chart. So yeah, on yesterday, 2.49 ETH. 2.49 ETH. And all of a sudden, these things start trading at almost 5 ETH, like 24 hours, not even later, off like nothing. Nothing's even happening. There's like the speculation around like the space miles and the token, but there was nothing really that definitive. It wasn't all over the timeline. Like, why is it running? Do we even have to question? Is it just bull market vibes? All right, just in, CTV News reports that Vancouver will consider a proposal to integrate Bitcoin into the city today. Now, this was on the 11th. We've seen a lot about this, but let's see what the mainstream news has to say.
Yes, Vancouver City Council is set to debate a proposal by Mayor Ken Sim later this morning in the hopes of turning Vancouver into a Bitcoin-friendly city. CTV's Yasmin Gandam is in studio this morning for us. Good morning, Yasmin. So what exactly would this mean for taxpayers?
Good morning, Carrie. Well, what this would mean if it got approved is accepting payments for city services could be in cryptocurrency. Sim is an investor himself in Bitcoin, and he believes it would be irresponsible for the city to not look at the currency in the age of inflation and the current volatile market. Sim's motion would direct city staff to look into how to integrate Bitcoin, including potentially accepting taxes and fees in cryptocurrency. He also believes investing in Bitcoin is good for the environment, but that is still up for debate. Sim says investing in Bitcoin could actually help with issues of affordability. Take a listen to what he had to say about this motion last week when he introduced it.
We're going to basically give sovereignty to people, control of their lives, and people are going to be able to live in homes. They're going to be able to do that. So how isn't that cool?
So I don't know really what he means by like people are going to be able to live in homes from buying Bitcoin. Like, is it just like the assumption that it's going to go up that much that it's like, I don't know, that part I'm a little confused about. But wow, if you would have told me like a couple of years ago that this would be like the conversation on the mainstream news, I'd be like, I don't know about that, but love to see it. And I guess like what's kind of the next steps for it? It's very, very cool. Okay, so one of the weird things around X is that or specifically like the Web3 and crypto NFT side of X is that everybody kind of copies each other. You know what I mean? So we have the Calio tweet about conviction, right? And all of a sudden, the rest of the tweets I see on my timeline of the day, not all of them, a lot of them are different notable people making comments about conviction. There is always somebody that kind of starts like the conversation of the day. And just everybody then like makes a different take on it. But it's not like you credit somebody, right? It's not like you quote tweet the Calio person or anybody else who kind of like started it. People just throw it out there. And it's funny because you'll see like the various things, various takes on the same subject. It happens all the time. Yo, Hoonsy, home airdrops for 2021 NFT holders. Conviction is the hardest skill to learn in crypto, but it's always the most rewarding. True. We're not reading the rest of it. We're not going to do that. Okay, guys, what the hell's going on? So this is Jake Lucky, who's one of like the esport, I don't know if we call it like news journalist commentators of sort. Well, that's your YouTube channel. What happened? Some person just uploaded it and flooded it with random like crypto videos. Guys, God, what? Damn it. Can we not do that? And one of the craziest things we've seen in a while was somebody spending 400 ETH. Now, I think this was when ETH was a lot lower. So this 400 ETH, oh my goodness, the US value would be insane. However, at the time, it was the only left-facing pudgy, and everybody was like, why is this person buying this? Does the one-of-one purchase look good now? Well, maybe. We've highlighted this before, but LG Doucette re-bringing this up. The amount of venture capital raised by NFT companies at the top, $680 million by SoRare, $675 by Animoca Brands, $608 million from Dapper Labs, $452 to Polygon, $450 Yuga Labs. You can read the rest of them if you want. Feel free. But do you believe, when you look at this chart, that SoRare is more notable than all the other ones on there, or Animoca Brands, or Dapper Labs, or Polygon? How would you kind of remake this order if you were going to have to label them 1, 2, I don't know, we'll just call it 10. Probably more than 10 on there. It's wild. It's wild the amount of money that came into the space. And you wonder, because I mean, I don't know if Genies is still a thing. Autograph shut down. Everything else, I believe, is still cooking. It's wild. It's wild to think about how much money was injected in the space at the time. Now, when we say the conviction comment kind of started to spur, we've seen a lot of comments around AI NFTs. Well, what is that going to look like when that happens? You know a little bit about it? There you go. Also saw Lemon talking about conviction. Just wanted to highlight that for the theme of the show. Zagabond from Mizuki, you thought meme coins were powerful. Wait until you see what happens when 1 billion global anime fans become economic participants not consumers. Participants, creators, owners. I mean, if we're going for mainstream, I like that. I like the 1 billion global anime fans. There's a lot that can happen with on these Web3 rails, and we're here to help assist in the cooking. Drew, reminder regarding security. Bo highlighting that before, when you got a message from somebody with a Bored Ape profile, 9 times out of 10, it was a scam. Now people are doing it with Pudgy Penguins. So be aware, as it's the same attack vectors as per usual, disguised as something different. But again, if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about security, we have had a specialist, Alex Katz from Kerberos, who's built out Sentinel-3, which is a browser extension on the RWA Segments podcast. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description below, or if you follow me on X, it's in my bio on there. Would love for you guys to check that out. It's 30 minutes of just pure insight regarding Web3 security, and I think it's really, really valuable. Maybe set a reminder on your phone if you're watching on the live stream now to check that out later, because again, really, really think you guys will find valuable information that's not just me yapping. I kind of sit there and make comments, but it's not just me yapping. You know what I'm saying? So in the States, Doodles and the McDonald's coffee cups. We don't have these in Canada. So who's going to ship them to Canada? Yahoonsy? Yo, let me know. What's funny, though, is they're making like millions of these, like maybe hundreds of millions of coffee cup. And these might even become collectibles one day. How like, it's weird to think about this stack. Like, do they pay for that many coffees? Do they ask for cups? Do they work at Mickey D's? Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. And LG again saying, okay, but are you this old? And I feel almost like an NFT historian at a point, because of course we have an interview with the founder from way back in the day. So it's called Dirty Bird Flight Club. And this was all about music. It was like an entry to a festival. You got to talk with the artist. I honestly don't know if they're still doing anything within the space, but at the time, it was one of those collections that I don't think people thought was going to get like a lot of bids or attention, but it ended up being so at a time, even if it was for a short while. But of course, you look up Dirty Bird Flight Club, Dirty Bird Flight Club, Schiller on YouTube. You'll find that interview from way back in the day. Reminder, exactly 2 years ago today, Bitcoin was $17,000. Now it's at 100, and that's American. Might switch that to Canadian. We're cooking. So there was a post here from Whale.mocha that was kind of questioning, all right, we got legacy NFT projects that are cooking, but we've not really seen anything new. And I've been of the assumption that I think anything new that's going to come into the space from major brands is going to be focusing on more of that like mass adoption to mass NFTs. Trying to think of like the right phrasing for this, but it's not going to be your 500 to 1,000 editions. It's going to be like massive ones, right? Massive ones, but maybe a little bit cheaper on the cost. But Luca comments on the fact that we've not really had any new mints in general, whether it be big brands, newer players. It's just felt really, really quiet. And he says the floodgates for new mints will come if royalties come back. So again, royalties was a huge topic where if you bought an NFT, like 5% of it went back to the team. So, if an NFT was selling for $20, $50, wasn't insane amounts unless the volume was really, really there. But for when collections were going for, that 131 ETH, it was multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those 5%, 10% royalties, whatever they were insane. The amount these teams were made, like there's a reason some of those valuations we looked at early were there because the royalties were just that nuts. There's too much liability for new projects if they don't. Takes a certain type of builder to sign up without them, but maybe that's for the better. It's a catch-22. So we'll see if royalties really end up coming back. And so Kook was talking about how Coinbase locked their account today with no reason. So we have somebody who's debanked. We've had nonstop talk about Coinbase having issues and locking people's accounts. And again, not your keys, not your crypto. Be very careful out there and make sure that you are taking your crypto off exchanges when possible. I don't know why there's been so many issues. I really don't. It sucks to see them. But when the Vancouver mayor was talking about allowing people to be sovereign, that's what it's all about. McDonald's, Pokemon Go. Okay, guys, I didn't realize Pokemon Go was still cooking the way that it was. I played it a couple months back. Harry Swan sent out some raid invites, and I was like, hell yeah, my Ribalachi. But I guess McDonald's is, we got Doodles, we got Pokemon Go now at every McDonald's. Like, what are we doing? Pac-Man from Blur and Blast saying NFTs are back. Data doesn't lie. And wow, look at the uptick again. Just before the end of November, things started to really pick up. In the middle of November, we kind of saw inclinations of it, but wow, it started absolutely flooring. Then, of course, somebody has to say zoom out to make it seem not that big of a deal. To me, that just says, okay, listen, what if we break all-time highs again? Right now, we're not even doing 200 mil in weekly volume. Imagine if we go over 600 mil in a time when we have the saturation of NFTs, but it's not the same that it was where everybody believed everything could run, if that makes sense. Now we're at a point where there's only X amount of collections left that people are picking from. And sure, we'll have the occasional new thing here or there, different ecosystems, maxis of sorts. But I think things could look completely different when you have that conviction on these teams that are building stuff out. And we've had X amount of years for them to kind of lay the foundations for that. Yo, Jacob, what's going on? How we doing? So back to the topic about everybody copying the conviction plays, right? I have people talking about one day the bull market will end. You should get free your bags when. Basically, take profit when. And then I'm having other people saying bull market top signals because we have all these things. But let's see what they say when this is when you got to leave. Watch your videos a bunch lately. Love the content as always. Yo, appreciate you tuning in. I really, really do. Oh, it's Wild Buffalo. Yeah, I was like, who in the halibut is Jacob? My man. You're great. Love you. All right. So Bitcoin. So this is when they're suggesting, right? This is when they're suggesting that you get the hell out, right? So Bitcoin dominance is near 40%, and alt season index approaches 100. More tokens stop pumping and enter the distribution phase. Trading volumes drop significantly. Blockchain metrics show overheating. Big funds and insiders start exiting. Phantom Wallet app enters the top 10 in the App Store, and media pushes overly bullish narratives. Okay. I mean, are we going to listen to that? That is the question. You're not watching the Game Awards? I'm going to be frank. I didn't even know it was on. I saw before I went live that Faker won Gamer of the Year, and every other esport pro they had in there, I've never heard of them in my life besides Faker, except for Chovy. Listen, we love League. True. Another one here. Coinbase has restricted my account without any explanation, and support refuses to provide clarity. As a paying Coinbase One customer with over 2 million in inaccessible assets, I'd appreciate an immediate explanation. Yeah. So at first, the other day when this started popping up, a lot, I was like, I think everybody's serious. Are we engagement farming? Or it was everybody's serious. I see this on my timeline all day, every day. And it's really freaky. Have you guys had any issues with Coinbase? What's going on? So Pudgy's also gave OpenSea their new profile picture. If you haven't seen, they're like, yo, we got that. And OpenSea's like, do we profile picture it? And of course they did just that. The amount of brands within the Web3 and crypto space right now that have switched over to a Pudgy brand of some sort. I don't even know if they own the Pudgy Penguin. You know what I mean? It's like they take a penguin, they put the coloring on it, they have the Hoonsy effect, and then they put a logo, and they're like, here's our new PFP. And it's funny, though, because this is the exact same thing that happened with Bored Apes back in the day, where people were going out, they were spending $60,000 to go buy a Bored Ape, put it as their branding, and it was in hopes to attract other people. And Pudgy's is basically doing that exact same thing. And now it's not the Pudgy brand themselves, it's not the Pudgy team themselves. It's all these different players that are like, hey, this is kind of the symbol of Web3 right now. And so we'll very much see an interesting shakeup regarding that, I believe. So Doodles, Doodle Records, and PlayStation Music. That's the new announcement from today from Doodles. And this was at 5:51 p.m. So this didn't react for that market. If you remember, we saw earlier where there was just a huge run on Doodles. This was way after the fact. Doodles Records is taking over PlayStation Music for the next 2 weeks. Starting today, our playlist will be default across over 60 million PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles globally. To access the playlist, follow the steps below. Now, I'm trying to go back in my memory, but it feels Spotify did a bunch of collaborations that were made playlists with different collections. Because I remember Fluff World did something at that point. There was a whole bunch of others. I don't think anything came of it, but it sounded like a really big deal at the time. So I also don't really know who the hell listens to like music on PlayStation. It's not my cup of tea, but hell yeah. Love to see the Toodles are out there branching off. Reminds me when a bunch of companies did the Jack Butcher O'Peppin too. Yes, listen, that I don't know how to like give you a gold star for the comment, but you're totally right. I remember that being a thing as well. And those O'Peppins that were the Pudgy Penguins also got like a decent bid with the Pudgy run-up if nobody's seen. Okay, so this is... guys, I want you to sit down for a second, right? Breaking. Fart Coin's market cap is now greater than 38% of all American publicly traded companies. I simply have to ask a question. How do you find motivation to do anything? How do you want to build anything? How can you not just sit there and be like, God, I hope I have a whole lot of life savings and I just put it in a coin and God, I hope it moons. Like, I don't know how the new younger people are going to come up with all these stories. Maybe indoctrinated, if that's the right word, into just this insanity. But nuts that it's running that hard. So for Fluff World holders, listen, we're getting 1,000 root per fluff. Yo. Very nice. Questimus is kicking off good. They're originally 250 root, but then they upped it to 1,000. So a quick little early Christmas present. That doesn't happen until after Christmas, but we're going to say it's going to happen before. True. And speaking of Featureverse, this is some of their like AI playing field. They're doing a whole bunch of tools and other cool stuff around it. I thought it was music with this. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. It's just awkward. Okay, cool. But a bunch of different characters, different landscapes and stuff. We're hearing about these AI tools. We're seeing a lot of AI agents that are popping up. What is it going to look like for these AI built worlds, these AI created characters? We got Jeff's Bored Ape in it. I have no idea what this statue is. Like, what in the heck is this? We got... It's like a gold NFT. Is this like a captain's? Is this alpha? Is this like completely random? But it's showing the surfaces in the world generation, and my God, that ape is fried. Jesus Murphy. A couple of other things behind it, but cool to see the tools in action and coming to life. So this is your moment of the day. So the chill guy, if you guys remember, the guy who created like this character came out and absolutely blasted NFTs, said crypto NFTs, all this stuff is garbage, it's stupid, it's horrible, right? Fair point. Decided he was going to go into plushies. Cool. So the account of this artist today makes a statement saying, I've come to an agreement to give the meme coin license to Chill Guy's art, IP, whatever it be. Everybody, including news sources, are like, breaking news, Chill Guy's here, he's excited, back in business. And then the artist account then tweets out a wallet address saying, hey guys, excited about this. Feel free to send any funds here. You know, just kindly asking. The account was hacked. People sent this fake account 13,000 plus. And they immediately sold all of it. And all these news stations immediately just took like the first tweet they had at face value. So when we talk about security, all these news sites technically massively mucked up. And imagine if they were sharing these links and getting other people. And I get that it was just like a simply address. So there's not really any harm except for like if you're trying to support this alleged person or you think you're supporting the artist and you're like, hey, I want to give me $100, $500, whatever. I made a ton off like this coin, even though you weren't associated. Like, okay, I get it. But like, it's just a head scratcher. It really, really is that we just have like this notion of we don't want to fact check anything. We want to talk about things. I can imagine that I've like screwed up certain things I've said on here too, but it just, you know, it proves the point. You really have to be vigilant, have to think twice about everything and critically think. It's not, you know, you can sit here passively, you read different takes, like, okay, whatever. But when you actively want to go do something, just critically think is all I can say. All right, that's it for this edition of X-Feed. We'll be back tomorrow, as per usual. Mr. Wild Buffalo, Trukion, Hoonsy, legends. Absolute legends. If you're watching afterwards, appreciate you guys as well. This is a little bit later, so if you're watching in the morning, hope you have a phenomenal day. And that's it. League. Listen, that's like 9:15. Listen, that's late for Malazzi. Y'all, Hoonsy's coming through with the 42 months. Man, it's an absolute legend. Yeah, the guy didn't even put a note to make like the AI voice say something stupid. Drew. All right, Hunzi, you're the absolute goat. Appreciate it, bro. Okay, guys, goodbye forever. Drew.